Another Chicago politician is going to prison. But wait, it's not just Chicago that we've got these issues happening. It happens all over the nation. We've had several convicted in the past couple of years, Republican and Democrat. It doesn't matter what the political party is. These politicians stay in power for so long that they get addicted to the power so much that they won't use it to make money. But let me point this out. Okay, the case that I noticed on this, and you're going to see a clip about this, is the name Michael Madigan is this guy's name. Convicted 10 of 23 corruption charges. Okay, some of which was connected to the Commonwealth Edison. Unlike the, Consolidated Edison in New York City, Con Ed, this dude, he's longest serving legislative leader in U.S. history. This man was elected to office in 1970. And he started serving in 71. Guy has been in some kind of leadership position since, I think it's like 83. But this guy has so many scandals, it would take me 5 minutes to go through all the scandals. But hold on a second here. Let me let you see a clip and let you listen to these folks talking about this. And then I'm going to get back into some of this, why we need to start considering that voters need to start realizing they need to make a change. But let's see this clip real quick.
Howdy, y'all. This is Paul, the Redneck Thinker. What we have here is a channel to communicate. I want you folks to be thinking by the time you leave my videos. Why? Because I'm tired of people talking via what other people tell them to think. So, watch my video and enjoy the chance to think for yourself.
We begin here at 6 with breaking news. A stunning fall from grace for former House Speaker Mike Madigan.
The man once nicknamed the Velvet Hammer for his soft but driving political style, sentenced to 7.5 years in prison for corruption. Our Sabrina Francis spent the day in the courtroom. She kicks off our team coverage.
Joe, Erica, the Velvet Hammer, now convicted criminal. This was a trial that lasted 11 weeks, resulting from an investigation over 10 years. The jury deliberated over the course of 11 days. Nothing in this case was taken lightly. Mike Madigan left the federal courthouse after being sentenced to 90 months in prison. That's 7.5 years for 10 charges of bribery, conspiracy, and fraud. He took no questions, his face emotionless, as it was pretty much all day in the courtroom. Madigan was originally charged in a 23-count indictment. His case, possibly the largest case of political corruption in Illinois state history. In fact, at one point during sentencing today, federal prosecutors even referenced another corruption trial for former Governor Rod Blagojevich. They argued Madigan's case was even worse because governors, they said, come and go, but Madigan stayed in the House of the Illinois, this position as Illinois House Speaker for decades. At one point today, Madigan spoke to the judge in his own defense, taking a big gulp of water before he did so, saying he was, quote, truly sorry for putting the people of Illinois through this and asking for mercy so that he can care for his wife, who is battling cancer. Judge Blakey said the apology was not enough, citing that even though Madigan has a record of public service, is a proven, dedicated father, grandfather, and husband, he still did what he did knowingly, and knowingly, he says, obstructed justice by testifying and lying under oath. He called Madigan's testimony nauseating, adding, quote, "You lied, sir, you lied." Now, we mentioned Madigan didn't take any questions. Neither did prosecutors following this decision, but they did just issue a statement. I'll read a portion of it. They say, quote, corruption at the highest level of the state legislature tears at the fabric of a vital governing body. Now, Madigan left with his family tonight, but he will have to report to prison at a later date, and the location that he will have to report to is still to be determined.
Was there any reaction at all in the courtroom from him or anyone on his team?
At some points he started fidgeting with his hands, but truly, Joe, that was about it. He otherwise at times sat back, had his hand on his chin, but that was it. He was stone cold pretty much the entire day.
Sabrina, thanks.
Our Charlie DeMar is also standing by. He is at the courthouse for us, and Charlie, Madigan's sentence was harsher than a few legal analysts predicted it might be.
And Marie and Joe, at the heart of this case is public corruption, and there's been no shortage of public officials tried and ultimately convicted here at the Dirksen Federal Building. As we mentioned, Mike Madigan sentenced to 7.5 years. Ed Burke was sentenced to 2 years in this building. George Ryan, 6.5, and Rod Blagojevich to 14 years. And Rod Blagojevich's case was even mentioned in court today by the judge. I do want to bring in CBS legal analyst Irv Miller. Irv, this is a wide range of sentence time for public corruption. Can you just talk to me about the wide range from 2 years all the way up to 14?
Well, frankly, the system isn't supposed to work that way. People who are convicted of similar crimes are, under the law, supposed to get similar sentences. And to say, on one hand, where you have Ed Burke at 2 and another extreme, you get Blagojevich got 14, it's kind of hard to say why there's such a disparity. And that's, frankly, what the sentencing guidelines were supposed to cure, but obviously they haven't.
The judge took in a number of factors. Madigan's ailing wife, his age being 83 years old, but ultimately on the other side that tipped the scales also was the fact that Madigan took the stand and lied during his own trial, and that he also showed no remorse throughout the entire trial and even today at his sentencing.
2 big mistakes, and it cost him. I suspect his sentence would have been a lot lower had he not perjured himself. Also been a lot lower if he would have shown remorse. But I don't think that was going to happen with Michael Madigan. From day one, he said, I didn't do it, and he was not going to take the next step to show remorse just to get a couple years off the sentence. That's the kind of guy he is.
Irv Miller, thank you so much. The judge today called this a tale of 2 Mikes. The Mike Madigan who did so much as a public servant for so many years, and then the Mike Madigan who was hungry for power. Guys, I'll send it back to you.
Dramatic afternoon for sure. Charlie, thank you.
Much more on the sentencing of Mike Madigan coming up tonight at 10. And you can always get the latest on our website, cbschicago.com.
You're talking about all of this. Okay, Mike Madigan. He 3 counts of wire fraud connected to a scheme to offer paid state positions to former Chicago Alderman Danny Solis and his daughter. 3 counts of accusing him of violating the Travel Act by having Solis set up meetings and efforts to win business for Madigan's private law firm. 2 counts bribery, 1 count conspiracy, 1 count violation of Travel Act involving the Illinois Electricity Utility Commonwealth Edison. I mean, he's getting 7.5 years of this. Now, this man was so powerful that he was able to get his adopted daughter. This was his oldest daughter. They have 4 children. Him and his wife have 4 children. His oldest daughter, Lisa Madigan, served as Attorney General of Illinois from 2003 to 2019. Now, I don't know how many states allow you to serve for 16 years as Attorney General, but that's pretty fascinating that he was in there that long. He's connected to something called AT&T Friends and Family Plan bribery scandal. He campaign contributions. He admitted that he is more likely to return phone calls from campaign contributors than non-contributors. Of all the current sitting Democrats, Illinois House members, Madigan has received the most campaign contributions from labor unions. From 2002 to 2012, he received $670,559. And that's just campaign contributions. Here's a man that's willing to take bribes. The SEIU. If you've been following me for a while, or if you want to go back, I did an entire thing of government union people that were arrested last year. And SEIU, very prominent in that. But he also received money from Chicago Teachers Union. Let's not even get into that one. Illinois Federation of Teachers, Illinois Education Association, AFSCME, I've covered them, and American Federation of State county, and municipal employees is what that stands for. And money from AFL, CIO, the list goes on. But that's just it, ladies and gentlemen. He's not the only one. I'm not just going after Michael Madigan. Seriously, I'm not. Mike Madigan is just one more. It's not the problem. Well, he is a problem, but he's a consequence of a problem. When they created this country, they thought, okay, they're not going to let people stay in office for too long. Well, unfortunately, people have become disconnected from communities. They're part of the community, but they're not really. So they don't pay attention to people like this. You've also got the situation where people just don't care anymore. They're going to vote because of what's beside the name, whether it's D or R. They're not going to research these people. We have to talk about these people. It doesn't matter. This is Chicago. It doesn't matter because where these people are. New York, Florida, Texas, California. Doesn't matter. We cannot allow these people to stay in office for so long. There is a former member of U.S. House of Representatives, served for 6 terms. His name was Scott Ridgel. He said, when he started his election campaign for his very first election, he said, I will only serve 6 terms. Once I hit that mark, I'm not serving again. Guess what he did? They kept electing him and he stopped after 6 terms. We don't have many people like that, and we need those. The problem is that the American electorate has to start doing something about this. Seriously, we have to stop electing people that get this much power and make this much money off of politics. This is why we need to stop electing these people. This is why we have to start building in term limits. 16 years as the Attorney General, that was his daughter. And there were campaign contribution questions during that campaign. There are more people than him. So we need to start taking care of this. This has been Paul, the Redneck Thinker. Y'all have a good day now. Bye. So, folks, that's the story that I wanted to bring you on this video. And I just wanted to say thank you again for coming by. Hit like, subscribe, comment, all that fun stuff if you don't mind. Help me out. So, y'all have a good day now.